Quick one from me before we get into the video. I will be live on Twitch directly after this video. The link is in the description and it will be in the comment section. Come over there if you want help with trading. I will be doing it all live. I'll be able to help you guys as much as I possibly can for all budgets. Come join the community, come over to Twitch, get involved. But for now, we'll get into the video. Do you fancy yourself as a bit of a pro player on EA Sports FC? Monthly tournaments are going live at foottrading.co.uk. So not only will you get the buying and selling prices for every single card on this game, helping you make millions of coins guaranteed, you'll also automatically qualify for the tournament should you wish to enter. There'll be cash prizes for the people that do the best in the tournaments, and we're hoping to get into the esports side of things in long term, so you guys can show us what you can do and hopefully get involved in that. So check out foottrading.co.uk for all your trading and playing needs. But for now, let's get into the video. Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to a new video with me, Fuzzball40. Make sure you subscribe if you're new around here and turn those notifications on. I guarantee you will help you make millions this year. It's really simple once you start to learn the trends. If you can click the like button and comment, doesn't take long, but it makes a massive difference to the videos. And like I say, a couple of bits of housekeeping. If you're on the website at Tier 1, the weekly trading guide went live yesterday. Tier 2, Sunday Flips goes live on Sunday. You will make hundreds of thousands from those guaranteed. And remember, the first tournament with cash prizes starts next weekend. So if you fancy yourself as a decent FIFA player, you will absolutely hammer that out. It's going to be incredible. But we are about to make a lot of coins over this weekend if you play your cards right, okay? Now, I've seen lots of videos, and what they do is they go, right, here's all the things you can do for the next 4 days. It's not really sensible. What you want to be looking at is the short term, what you can buy maybe Friday, potentially Saturday. That's what you should be looking at, because when I do trading and when we do the trading guide on the website, we break it down so you guys get like work with this and this for a couple of days, and you can work with this and this. Keep getting your coins into the game, take your profit out. Coins into the game, take your profit out. Now, the most obvious place to start is going to be in these Trailblazers, okay? So if you want to get to this page that I'm on right now, you go Players, Player Game Performance, and then click on Version and go to Trailblazers. You can do it for any of the special teams. And what it will do is it will list for you the most popular cards in terms of games. So as you can see here, Ruben Diaz, Giovanni Di Lorenzo, Mkhitaryan, the most popular. Now, they're probably the most, I guess, attainable of the good cards from this. Griezmann's, in my opinion, very popular for what he costs. That's very, very good. The trend we've seen so far in promo cards is up. Now, we have to bear in mind that is road to knockout cards, which generally tend to have a trend that is up once they're out of packs. But we're at a stage of the game where there aren't that many options to sort of work with. So someone like Giovanni Di Lorenzo, he is up already. He's up a fair amount, to be fair. But he is the only really, really decent right back. He's basically replaced himself as a decent right back from the Serie A, okay? And these players do have a ceiling price, but I do feel someone like Di Lorenzo could rise. You've also got to remember he's got the link to Berardi as well, and a lot of people are liking that Berardi card. Someone like Di Lorenzo could do well. Now, it really all depends what's going to happen before 6 PM, because what we tend to see is a little drop-off before 6 PM, and then the market rises after 6 PM in these cards. So if I see Di Lorenzo coming down, I probably will purchase a few of them, but I don't really want to hold these cards for too long. If I just show you Modric, he did unbelievably. Now, obviously, Modric was helped by Rodrigo, who was helped by Bellingham and stuff like that. And his rise has been astronomical. He's basically up nearly, well, basically 100,000 coins. Now, you can see that his rise was really, really quick. He boomed from there. So what, we're talking 40,000 coins. He boomed really, really quickly. And he's kept rising since then. But I don't want to hold my cards too long, because on Sunday, I want to get involved in Sunday Flips, which there'll be another video on for you guys. But they tend to rise quite nicely once they're out of packs, and it happens to pretty much all of them. I mean, Angel Di Maria has done absolute... I didn't see this coming in terms of the difficulty linking him. But again, what, 44k on the Sunday, and just kept rising. And this is a different sort of trend to like Modric. He was always coming down before the content came out, and he kept going down till Sunday, and he's flown since then. Now, he might have been helped a little bit with the buy-in for the SBC that's supposed to be coming today, potentially tomorrow, I guess, and that's Julian Alvarez. Now, we've seen here that Ruben Diaz was the most popular Trailblazer for last week in terms of games played. And if we look at Ruben Diaz here, he's reflected the fact that there's been demand for him, and he's on the way up, okay, and he's kept rising. And he's risen a little bit more because that Julian Alvarez SBC is out. Now, I've seen people be like, be careful with this card because he's already up and stuff like that. And that is true. You do need to be a little bit careful. However, early game, there isn't that much in terms of links to different players, okay? So there was, for Man City, you got what? Diaz, you've got the Kevin De Bruyne SBC if you did it, and you've also got Doku. There aren't that many links for that Alvarez card, so you're going to have to use some from a Man City player or run a huge amount of Premier League in your team or some Argentinians in order to get that Alvarez onto Kem. So someone like Diaz, I would be keeping an eye on. And again, if just before 6 p.m. we start to see a little dip in that sort of 4 o'clock, 4 p.m. range, UK time of course, they start to dip, I might get a little bit interested in them. What you're really hoping for is a quiet day today. You really want a quiet day for content. That's when the market rises. If today is filled with tons of content all over the game, that can usually hold the market down. So bear that in mind. If you go on at 6 p.m. and you see quiet day, you see Alvarez and not much else, that's usually a good sign. Usually a really good sign. Outside of that, one card I've been asked about a lot is Gaia, okay? Now, I would be worried about this card a little bit. He hasn't been played that much. He is 56k, but once he starts to rise too much, he gets into Mendy territory. And I don't think people that are running Mendy are going to run Gaia instead. Now, don't get me wrong, there is a big gap between him at the moment. Gaia probably will rise, but just be a bit mindful that he's probably got a ceiling that's relatively soon, purely because once you get to that point, people just go, sorry, actually, I'll just stick Mendy in my team. Now, whether you think Mendy's a better card or not is another matter, but that's the way people think about Mendy this year. So that's sort of where I'd be putting my coins initially. That's probably where I'm going to put some of my coins. Where else you can put your coins, though, is in icons if you've got a high budget, okay? Low budget guys, do not worry. We'll be talking to you guys as well. Icons, every single time there's been a promo team coming out, prior to the promo team coming out, they've dipped off and I've bought. Then they've risen a little bit and then they've dropped again, okay? What I think you want to be looking at is icons that link up into the new cards that came out or the cards from last week. But do you know what do really, really well? Goalkeepers. Goalkeepers tend to do fantastically for icons. I won't search it like that. I'm going to search Casillas up here. I don't know what it is about goalkeepers. I think it's because they're relatively attainable. They're easy to link up. And to be fair, the icon goalkeepers are very good. But Casillas is the example I want to give you. Last week at Content Drop, Casillas, I got 2 of him for 240,000 coins. Now, do I think he gets that low again today? No, I don't. But again, I've now seen a trend in Casillas that he's dipped off and he's risen and he's done really, really well. If you're a website subscriber, you'll know this because you would have seen this with fluctuations all week. If you haven't done that and you've got a big budget, just go and look at some of the icon goalkeepers. Go have a little look at them. They're pretty safe bets because there's not that much, again, that can replace an icon goalkeeper. So they tend to do really, really well. And Casillas is known to be one of the best keepers on the game this year. So it's just bear that in mind. Icons are very, very good. Now, when people talk about what you want in terms of a drop-off, for all these cards I'm about to talk about, at least 20% is really where you want to be, but that's not always going to be feasible. It's really not going to be feasible. So you're going to have to sort of play it by ear. If you see the whole market collapsing, then that's great. But if you just see some players coming down, then that's fine as well. You can buy into those, but don't just expect they're all going to do that, okay? But icons could be really, really nice tonight, but they've dipped off before content, risen and then dipped off. I can't stress this enough. With icons and with the other cards we're going to talk about, waiting is very, very important. The low point hasn't been the usual 7, 8 o'clock. It's been later in the evening than that. So you just have to bear that in mind, okay? So if we look at other things, right? I'm looking at Grimaldo here. We're getting a objective and it's for Palacios, okay? Grimaldo has risen quite significantly in the last sort of day or so since that was announced, which you expect to do as a link. Now, what you might start to see is people start to sell him in the hype before the content comes out, basically. You'll see maybe another further rise. People think, right, I'm going to get out of him for my profit, just because there's no point risking holding on to him until content drop. Then could be a time to buy. Once people start to list, what tends to happen is people then start to undercut, and Grimaldo might come down. So Grimaldo could be a really decent card to think about when it comes down to this new Palacios card, basically. Obviously, next to him, you've also got Hincapi. Hincapi is up at the moment, but again, this card, I still think it's got some rise in it because if Leverkusen do well enough, he's going to get an upgrade. So that's another option for you guys. I don't think there's tons of profit there, but there could be some profit there. Frimpong, people have talked about Frimpong saying he's a potential. Now, I will say this. At the moment, no. Frimpong isn't great in my opinion. But you've got to remember, at 6 p.m, he's going to get packed like crazy. And if he gets low enough, Frimpong would be someone that I definitely would be looking at. If he can get down again by that 20%, maybe a little bit more. He's 83 rated, he'd get packed relatively often. I'd be looking at Frimpong potentially. Because a lot of people that are going to use that Palacios card in their team might not really necessarily have many coins. A lot of people that Frimpong, that Palacios is meh because they've already got a better team. So Frimpong might be an option, genuinely. You just got to keep an eye on it. And then again, we talk about those of you that may be mid-budget and lower budget. We're going to talk to both of you guys about that. Something to avoid is centre-backs. I don't think they tend to do very well. You do see a drop-off and a bounce back, but again, it's not massive. And again, the drop-off, when it's been sort of into that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, they haven't rebounded back really until the Sunday. So in the meta cards, I'm not a massive fan of too many of the meta cards unless they get really, really low. So someone like Diaby, for example, I'd only be interested in this card if it really dips off. Now, he has rebounded brilliantly this week from where he was. But if you look, when the drop-off happened, they just kept going. They didn't suddenly bounce back on the Friday and go, right, everyone's going to use them. They've tended to keep dropping off. And so I do think that these are investments maybe to think about for Sunday, which we'll talk about in that video. I'm not sure that I'd be thinking about looking at these guys right now, personally. I don't really see a massive, massive demand for these sort of cards over Weekend League. I think, if anything, they're just going to keep getting packed. So they're going to keep coming down. Where you can do well, though, is going to be in fodder, okay? Osimhen last week got down to fodder price. Now, I'm struggling to see how this card is fodder price, I've got to be honest with you. But he got down very, very low, and we called him, and he's up at 27k now. Now, fodder is going to be a longer hold for you guys if you decide to buy it. If we go and have a little look, we go cheapest player by rate in FootWiz, and we get that up. Obviously, 84s, I've talked about them now for a while. They are at discard price. These are zero risk. Whether you go unassigned on them or not is another matter. But 84s, and you stuck one in your club, you're going to make profit in the long term. But you can see the price of fodder here, okay? And fodder, obviously, is very, very expensive on the game currently. If it gets down tonight, there have been windows, basically, every time content drops, let's say we'll go with 89 rated. Every time there's been content dropped, they've got down to 40k and below, then they've bounced back, dropped off, bounced back. It's been the last couple of days' theme. There's still going to be demand for all the SBCs that are currently on the game, and we're about to add an Alvarez to that potentially. There's also Xavi Simons coming. All these cards could do really, really well. If you're low budget, you can work with some of this fodder. 85 rated at 4.6k is still cheap compared to where they're normally at. They're normally at 7, 8k on previous FIFAs. That's later on, of course. Again, if these guys got down to 4k again tonight's hopefully slightly lower than that, you're going to look to get them on bids and snipes in the first sort of hour, maybe 2 hours. You're going to get a lot of promo packs tonight, which should help with that. You can buy them, hold them for a little bit, and they will rise in value. They're going to go up. There's no doubt about that. So again, fodder for those of you that are low budget could be a really nice play to go with. I'd be surprised if you didn't see a really good return from that. And then, moreover than that, I've talked about it a million one times, but I'll talk about it again and again and again. Chemistry styles do incredibly, okay? So let's say you're looking at, I don't know, someone like Frimpong, because we're going to talk about Frimpong. If you're going to pick up Frimpong tonight with the thought process that maybe people might link him to Palacios, because there is a chance. If we have a look at Frimpong at the moment, he's 3.7k, right? He sits there at 3.7k. If you're interested in buying him, then really where you want to be looking at him is someone like a Shadow, right? Anyone you buy tonight, if you can buy them with shadows on them, it's going to make a massive, massive difference. It's going to cover off your investment. So if you go and buy these cards tonight and they get low enough, let's say Frimpong does get down to 3. If you can get him at 3, 3.1, 3.2, 3.3 with Shadow, you're not going to have a problem. You're really not going to have a problem because they will bounce back long term. Now, you have to bear in mind, the trend for a lot of these gold cards over the whole weekend has been continually down. So whether you think that Frimpong is a good buy today is another matter because he has a chance to keep dropping. His price might be held up though by Palacios realistically. But all the other guys that are basically already near at that discard price or at that sort of 84 rated price, these guys are literally zero risk for those of you that are low budget. They're really, really like low risk. Where's Sane at the moment now? I mean, Sane is getting towards discard price for 84s, okay? Him with Hunter tonight is a no-brainer. You'll stroll it. You'll make so much profit from him if you're low budget. You've just got to think about it that way. But that's what I'll be looking at tonight. It's really, really simple. Like I said earlier on, if you want to check me out, I'll be live on Twitch directly after this video. Subscribe, like, comment, and check out Foot Trading. But for now, I'm out. Peace out. I'll speak to you soon.